So I've just downloaded and extracted a template website, and this is what I have. So you must remember to extract the website, so it comes like this, and then you can extract it. Now I have one already that I've made a little change to, so just imagine you've downloaded it and you've decided you want to make this one your own. So for example, let's say my puzzle here, and maybe put an image of your puzzle and maybe a description of the puzzle just here. Okay, so let's use the one I've just downloaded, which is in its original form as it is here. And what you need to do is select some text. This won't be long, this video. Control C, and then go to the folder again, and you want to edit that file. Okay, let's reposition everything so you can see it, and then Control F. Control F allows you to paste that, and Control V to paste that into the search area. Find that, and it's there. So this is a heading inside a div class, so this is a content area inside the main section. So we have this div, make sure you can see the start and the end, and inside that we have a header, a paragraph, a list of one item, which we can get rid of that. And in here, I want to change the heading to my puzzle. Don't change it from heading 2, because it will normally flow in some sort of order from heading 1. And then change the text in this paragraph to my puzzle will go here. And you want to make this into a container of your own, really, so you can style your own container up. So I'm going to call it a division, so div ID or div class. I'm going to use class because we're going to have many puzzles, and we're going to want that puzzle styling that we're going to do in a moment to apply to many puzzles, so many areas. So my puzzle will go here. I could put an image in there of a certain size, which would be better than saying my puzzle will go here. So at the moment, if I was to look at that file in Chrome, you will see that I have my puzzle will go here. I could get rid of the learn more, but I'll leave it for now. Okay, so that's an example of that so far. I'll minimize that. Now if I want to style this and give it a border, for example, because notice, let's put it back up, it has nothing. So if I wanted that to be a box, for the box model for example, where I'll put an image or a JavaScript or so on, then what I need to do is I need to make sure I have my own style sheet. I don't want to alter the style sheet, so Control C. I don't want to alter the main style sheet, so I can call it whatever I want, extras or additions. So what I'm going to do there is make a new style sheet and save it in the same area that this one is. I'm going to call this dot because it's a class. If it was an ID, it would be hash puzzle, but because there are going to be multiple puzzles, then I thought I would just style it with a class, so use the dot for that. And the reason using the dot and not just having the word puzzle is because it's not a standard HTML tag. If it was a standard HTML tag, then you wouldn't have a dot or a hash, but because you're making your own tag, i.e. div ID, then you need to have the dot. Okay, so I'm just putting a border around it, and I make sure I save that in the area where the main is, and I've called that additions. CSS. So take away the text, save that. Just don't overwrite the original one, it's problematic. So now let's see what I have. Nothing fancy, of course, but you should now see my little box there. And I can put a margin to make this move away from being squashed up next to it. So I'll just quickly do that. I'll put a margin around the box now. So everything I do now, I've done my main coding to actually, it's here, hang on, let me push that over. I've done the main coding. I'll put my puzzle here when I have one. That's where it's going to go. So I've done most of the work. Now I'll just literally replace that with a puzzle or an image at some point, and that's it. So all my work now is going to go into here, which is again working on the box model. So I want to put a margin on the bottom for sure. Let's do that again, margin bottom. So I'll just give that, say, 2 letter M's. Remember, the size of the default letter M is good for responsive web, so when you resize it on different platforms, it's a good idea to have to use something that changes according to the display rather than pixels. And also you've got things like setting the padding so things are not squashed to the edges of the inside of the box. So go back to that and just set up, say, padding of half of a letter M maybe. See what we have there, and refresh it because it's already open, so you can see that's a little bit better now as well. So you can just go in and tidy that. You can give it a width as well, so a small width of say 30% to make it not so big. So let's try a width. It is guesswork at first. You could open these files using Dreamweaver, Microsoft Expression, all that sort of thing, so you can lay things out better. They're quite good for laying out your websites. Okay, so I've given it a smaller width, so obviously you might want to make that bigger. And finally, if you wanted to have, say, 3 puzzles on the same line, you might want to do display it, sorry, colon in line, to make it go on the same line as the next one. So we could go back to the index and just have a couple of puzzles and mess about with that. It's a bit awkward with it all zoomed in like this. So I've got 3 puzzles. Let's have a look at what mess I've made of that. Okay, so we've got 3 puzzles, and then you want to make a gap between them. So, and again, that's now become squashed up because that I need a bigger margin on there. So what I will do is that won't make a difference, by the way, having that. So I'm going to put a bigger margin on there, and it's just because it's now placed it relative. So margin left or right. No, I'll put margin on the right to take away or to make a gap between the puzzles. Not on the left because that will push the first one over as well, and I don't want the first one to be moved over. So I'll put it on the right side. Okay, that's a bit too big, but it's not too bad when you expand the size of the window. It obviously fits-ish. No, it doesn't. So realistically, you want to play around with that, make sure you're happy with it, and just have a small margin on the right, so 1 EM or less, 0.5 EM, again half of a letter M, and make the width sort of a little bit smaller, 20, or not have, in that little gap, not have that many per line, so maybe have 2. Okay, I'm not sure why that one's squashed up. I'll have to look into that. I'm not going to have that anyway, so I'm just going to simplify by removing it because I don't actually want that link to be there. But yes, I would have to play around with a little bit of layout there. And like I said, a tool like Dreamweaver or Expression, which are generally quite easy to get hold of, will help you greatly here. So then make sure you have an image to go there for each of your puzzles, and they could then take you off to another website. I'll just show you another website, that is quite a good one in terms of fun for young people. So let's go and pick think we're on the home already. So let's just go to trying to look for one of the main pages really, but here you are. So you'd have a list of games, and then you'd click on the games, and that's kind of what they have inside. They have Learn to Read with lots of images, so you might have something similar on your web page for your puzzles. So just to finish off, that's the end of the demonstration. I hope you managed to edit your website. Next, you can try putting a form on there, so you can add a contact form somewhere, maybe here. So we can go to that by searching for this using Control F inside the notepad. So quickly before I finish, Control F, Control V, find that, and then we can change this to contact me, and then in here, let me just close that, and then in here we can put a HTML form. We can replace that paragraph, we can leave the paragraph, and we can do form, end form, and that's where our form will go inside of there. So that's the next thing that you will do. Okay, and just to quickly show, oh, and I need to spell it correctly as well, and just because I like things to be done properly. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the demonstration. So the next thing to do is to put a form in there as well, and just start replacing all of these things. Okay, good luck with that.